Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. The Prime Minister says Britain has sealed deals with China worth almost £40 billion. Among them, a multi-billion-pound contract giving China a 30% stake in the building of Britain's first nuclear power plant in a generation. The deals were announced on the second day of the state visit to Britain by China's President Xi Jinping. This afternoon, standing alongside him, David Cameron defended his decision to do business with China, saying it was good for both countries. Here's our political editor, Laura Kunsberg. Among the raft of business deals signed with China today are contracts to build new cruise ships, oil and gas projects, healthcare, trade deals, and of course Britain's first new nuclear plant in a generation at Hinkley Point in Somerset. Our business editor Kamal Ahmed looks at what the nuclear deal means for Britain. Two boats carrying almost 150 migrants have come ashore at an RAF base on Cyprus. It's thought to be the first time since the current crisis began that migrants have landed directly on British sovereign soil. Many of the people risking their lives at sea are fleeing the conflict in Syria for what's thought to be the first time since the Syrian war broke out. The country's president, Bashar al-Assad, has travelled abroad for a surprise visit to Moscow. He held talks with President Putin and thanked him for Russia's recent military intervention in Syria. Here's our Moscow correspondent, Steve Rosenberg. Labour's deputy leader, Tom Watson, has publicly apologised to the family of the former Home Secretary Leon Brittan after raising allegations of historic sex abuse against him. Police failed to tell Lord Brittan before his death that they had dropped an investigation into a complaint of rape against him. Our Home Affairs correspondent Tom Simons reports. 50 years ago today, one of the most controversial construction projects in modern Welsh history was opened. The Tryweryn Valley Reservoir was built to provide water for Liverpool, but nearly 70 people lost their homes when a whole village was cleared and flattened to make way for the new lake, an event that was named by locals as the drowning. There were huge protests at the time, including 2 bombings aimed at stopping the reservoir being built. Our Wales correspondent Hal Griffith has more. Doctors treating the Scottish nurse Pauline Cafferkey for complications of Ebola say her condition has significantly improved. Last week she had been critically ill with meningitis caused by the virus, which she caught in Sierra Leone last year. 1st of October 2015, a date you may well remember if you are a fan of the Back to the Future films. It's the day when the hero Marty McFly famously arrived in the future, having travelled here from 1985. Waiting for him was a world full of flying cars, self-drying clothes and hoverboards. Not exactly how life turned out to be, but how many of the film's predictions are correct? Our arts correspondent David Sillito reports.